Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K YouTube Live. And today I am going to show you how I made, it's a really quick and easy little fun fold card, but it's a fun fold card nonetheless, with the traditional label stamp set bundle from Stampin' Up. So let me scoot my camera around here just a hair, trying to get things straightened out and a little bit, a little more centered, hopefully. So again, traditional labels is the name of the stamp set bundle that we're going to be using. And the Christmas greenery dies are what I use to die cut the little greenery or floral piece in the background here. So hey, Sally and Amy, thanks for hopping in. And like I said, it's a Z fold, but it's a quick and easy little card. It's kind of a fancy one for the holidays, but it's really easy. So my favorite kind, quick and easy fun folds. I don't really do a lot of fun folds, but when I do them, they're always quick and easy. So there you go. Hey, Danette and Mary Ruth, thanks for joining. So traditional labels is the main stamp set that I used. And again, it's all sentiments and obviously some really pretty dies that coordinate with it. So there are dies that will cut out, I think every single sentiment in here you can fit inside one of the dies. I love this like double banner die. And so anytime I have an opportunity to use one of the sentiments on here where I can use the double banner die, that's the one I'm going to use. So I use the season's greetings on the front of the card. And then inside I just stamped the Merry and the Christmas. And so therefore it's a Merry Christmas card. So hey, Pam and Patricia and Maria and Sherry and Karen, thanks everybody for joining. So again, this is a bundle. It's actually part of a suite, and that's where the designer paper, the embellishments, the ribbon, and actually the other die set all comes from the whole suite. It's the Traditions of Christmas suite, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's near the front of the mini catalog, but it's a beautiful suite, and the paper in it is fantastic. So, all right, let me set a couple of these things aside here. One other thing that I did use on this is obviously the greenery, Christmas greenery dies. And actually, in fact, it was really only this die that I used. And I will show you in a minute. But actually, there are a couple dies on here, but this one in particular cuts some of the designer series paper that is in that suite. And I love it when Stampin' Up! Does that because, again, I'm the laziest card maker ever. And anytime I can do something without having to color it, just cut it out, stick it on the card, and it's done. Yay. So, hey, Karen. Glad that you are here, and definitely you need to give it a try. So, and Judy, thanks for joining. Marva, hello, thanks for being here. Oh yeah, you definitely need to get this stamp set. Just go get the whole suite. I promise, Amy, you won't be sad. So, all right. Couple things before we get going. If you haven't already heard, I posted this out on my blog already today. So if you want to look at all the details, you can go out to stampwithamyk.com. But Stampin' Up! Is doing a 15% off stamp sets. And my understanding is it is all stamp sets. They haven't given us anything that indicates that it's anything other than all stamp sets and tools. So that includes like the blocks and the chamois and Stampin' Mist Cleaner and things like that. There's a link to the page where everything that is supposed to be on sale for 15% off is on my blog today. So again, go definitely check it out. It's only going to be on sale for 15% off for one day only on September 18th. So make sure you put that on your calendar. Go get your stamp sets ordered that day and the stamp supplies or stamp tools, I guess I should say. Go get everything ordered on the 18th and yay, you will get 15% off. So, again, questions about that, let me know, but otherwise details are posted on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. And I also added this on the very same post with the details about the sale. Stampin' Up! Has got a really cool 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar that they are going to be selling starting on September 23rd, which is next week, Tuesday, I believe. And it's basically like a little countdown calendar, although I know if I get it, I would not be able to wait until 12 days to open it all up. I would just rip the whole thing open immediately when I got it because I wouldn't be able to not see what's inside it. But anyway, it's a cute little idea, great for crafting friends for the holidays, that sort of thing. So if you're looking for something fun as a gift, go check out the details out there. I know that there is a stamp set with it. Beyond that, I don't know exactly what's inside any of the little doors. Supposedly, I can't remember when it is, but I think I did hear that Stampin' Up! Was going to post a video with like peeks of everything that's inside it. So if you want to know what's in it before you order it, wait for the video. If you just want to order it and don't want the surprise to be spoiled, then don't look at the video. So, but the video that I have linked on my blog today does not include all the details. It only shows the stamp set and then shows the actual like little calendar thing. So, Again, let me know if you have questions about that. And then finally, just always reminding you to check out those online exclusives anytime you're out shopping at stampinup.com. So when you're out looking at all those stamp sets, go take a peek at the online exclusives because those items kind of come and go randomly. They are not attached to any catalog, so things will sell out and be gone, and then you'll be sad because you didn't get them. So, all right, so let's get going. I've got a card base and a few things cut up already here. So card base is Cherry Cobbler. So hey, Nisi and Barbara and Kathy, so two Kathys right in a row there. Thanks for hopping in. So card base is Cherry Cobbler, and it is, and hey Karen, thanks for joining. It is 11 inches by 4 1/4. And for this card, if you want it to end and be the final result that I got with it, you will have to use this card base with it. You can make Z-fold cards with your standard 5.5 by 8.5 card base, but you'll clearly have to score it at different places, and it will look a little different when it ends. So if you want it to look just like mine, you got to start with the card base like I have, which again is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and it is scored at 5.5. Well, I should have started with this one, 2 3/4, and then 5.5 is where you score it at. So very simple, just 2 score lines on the card base. And I don't know, I know this one's showing up on the camera when I'm looking at it. I'm not sure if the one in the middle is, but anyway, it's there, promise. All right, now we got some Designer Series paper. Again, this is from the Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper pack. It's a specialty pack, and so it's got that really pretty gold foiling in it, which of course we're going to be sticking to the paper so nobody's going to see the gold foiling but you and me. This piece of Designer Series paper is cut to about 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/8, and we're going to just adhere it to a piece of Secret C cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And again, we're just going to roughly center these, hopefully, if I can get it on here. There we go. And then we're going to use a little Stampin' Seal, and we are going to stick this to what will be the inside of the card. So again, it's going to be this wider piece over here on the right-hand side. So here's my 5.5 inch score line, and we're just going to center that between the score line and all of the edges here. And we'll stick it down that way. Then I've got another piece of that beautiful paper. This one I am putting the foil side up, so opposite side is plaid. And this is one of those that it's hard to know which side to stick down because I do love me some plaid. So, but plaid is going down on the, we're gonna have to stick it to the cardstock so nobody will see the plaid on this card, but it is a great plaid. So, all right, this piece is about 2 3/8 inches by 3 7/8 inches, and I don't know if it's really got a direction on it. I don't know. And then we're adhering it to a piece of Secret C cardstock that measures about 2.5 inches wide by 4 inches tall. All right, so we're going to put little Stampin' Seal on the back of this one. And then we're going to take that, and that one's going to go over on this panel. So we've got, again, our 2 3/4 inch score line is right there, which I don't know how well that shows up in the video, but we're just going to roughly center this over here on this side of the card front. There we go. And so that's it for the card base, really. I mean, that's like, yeah. The rest of it's just decorating. So we're going to go ahead, just because I don't normally fold my card bases until after I get everything all assembled. But this card, it matters a little bit where your front panel lands. You want to just make sure that it's centered. And it's a little easier, I have found, if I go ahead and get the card base all set up and scored. So again, folded it in half and then folded the front flat back. So that's basically how I got to this. Again, 2 3/4 inches, 5.5 inches. All right, got another layer of that pretty paper. So again, this is the flip side, and this actually is also, if I hadn't hacked it up, I can show you. There is, I'm smashing into things right and left. There is a die that actually will cut this pretty image out. The rest of it, I promise, is actually on the paper, but I chopped up this piece of it. But this die will fit around this beautifully colored image. Again, it's all from that Traditions of Christmas Designer Series paper, but that side's going to be stuck down for my card. This piece measures 2 5/8 by about 3 7/8 inches, and then this is about 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And again, just sticking it down to Secret C cardstock. And we're going to, the card front will actually be close to being done. It's pretty quick and easy, I tell you. So, hey, Debbie and Judy, thanks for joining. And if I didn't say hi to Karen Finkel, hi, thanks for hopping in. I can't remember whether I said hello. I know I saw your name pop up, but I was probably busy yakking. All right, so we've got that layered together. Now I'm going to take this and we're going to place it on the card front, kind of roughly center it, and then I'm just going to flip it over like this so that I know roughly where to put my Stampin' Seal adhesive. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to end up with gluing my card shut accidentally. So I want to make sure the adhesive is staying over on this side and to the left of this score line. So again, quick and easy. All right, just going to take this, and again, we're going to roughly center it. Hopefully get it on here straight. The little polka dots do make it somewhat easy to get things on here straight. Now, centered is a whole different story. So, all right, no adhesive sticking out, so we're good to go so far. The next thing that I did is I've got a little bit of the Real Red 1/2-inch shiny ribbon is what this is called, and it is a little shiny, so that's probably where the name came from. Very creative, I must say. And then we're just going to take a little, whoops, put the lid back on that. Just going to take a little Stampin' Seal here and kind of slap it here right in the middle. And again, I know it's going to look not very pretty, but nobody's going to see it because we're going to cover it all up with the sentiment anyway. And then we're just going to take ribbon and kind of roughly fold it in half in a bit of a wide V. I mean, not really wide V. I shouldn't say it's a wide V. In some narrow V. And a big narrow V. I don't know. It's a long narrow V, maybe is what I should say. We're just going to use the Stampin' Seal to stick that down here. And then we're going to trim off a little extra here. Don't need the whole spool at this point. All right, now we're going to set this aside and we're going to do a little die cutting. Like I said, this actually is it's a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper, but I have hacked it all up. This entire sheet is basically, there are red flowers on it, and then there's a set that's got the pink and red flowers on it, and there's another set that's got blue flowers on it. A previous card I did with the blue flowers, and I think I did a pink and red one. I don't know. Anyway, so, but this time we're using the all red for Christmas, and we're just going to grab, again, from the Christmas Greenery dies, this die that cuts this really cool little pre-colored image. So again, the lazy stamper in me says it's all pre-colored. I don't have to do it. Great, we'll just cut it out. So I'm going to go over to my die cutting machine and we're going to chop this out. So I'll be right back. So hey, Daryl, thanks for hopping in. All right. All right, there's my little die cut. And then we're going to take that and we're going to stick it on the card front and kind of just put it at an angle sort of over the top of the ribbon. And we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to stick it down. So let me grab some of my little half, whoop, wrong way around again. Okay, trying to figure out where my half dimensionals are at. I had a team meeting here over the weekend, and not everybody is on board with my half dimensionals. So you can see somebody actually like used them all out of the center of the sheet and used whole ones. And I was just, I don't know. That's one of those things that must, I think it should be illegal to use whole dimensionals, but I know not everyone agrees with me. So, all right, I'm going to take this and we're going to stick it over the top of the ribbon. And again, it's going to be on at a bit of an angle because I want it to stay mostly on the blue panel, but it doesn't matter that it hangs over just a little bit because nothing is going to get caught in the mechanism and the way that this card opens. And I actually think that I stuck this on, I put it on with glue dots the first time around, but that's okay. Dimensionals are always better. So, all right, now we're going to do a little bit of stamping finally. I've got Pool Party cardstock and then the Season's Greetings sentiment from the traditional label stamp set. And we're going to use a little Secret C ink. So definitely use half dimensional C. I think they're the best things ever. They're the perfect size for everything. They hold just as well as everything else. So I don't know. My theory is that we should all use them. But I know not everyone agrees with me. So, all right. So we've got our pretty little Season's Greetings. Oh, I know. I should, Judy. I couldn't even believe it. And I think there's only one person on the team that cuts them in half like I do that was here yesterday. And she did chop all hers in half, but the others, I'm like, oh, anyway, but it was all good. So we still had fun, even though there were some dimensionals harmed in the making of the cards. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and run this through the die cutting machine. Again, this is the traditional labels dies, and it fits perfectly around this little double banner sentiment. All right, and I don't know if you noticed it. I don't know if there's technically a right and a wrong way to put this on. I just felt like it didn't fit as well, so I think that is the wrong way to put it on. It just doesn't, you'll see when you get it, the curves are just slightly off on it, so there is kind of a right side up and an upside down for it. So just make sure you take a minute to flip it around. If it looks like it isn't quite fitting correctly, flip it upside down, and I think you'll be happier with the way that it cuts. So, and I know it wasn't you, Karen. You were the one and only that actually just did the normal, the way they should be done, which is the half dimensionals. So, all right. Since I dimensionalized underneath here, I am going to need to be a little careful and make sure that I put my dimensionals way wide outside here on my my banner. And we're just going to use a little Stampin' Seal in the middle to hold it down against this piece of paper. So I'm just going to take dimensionals, put them out here on the edges, and I can always tuck some additional dimensionals underneath it if I decide that it's not dimensionalized enough. So, hey Phyllis, thanks for hopping in today. Where did the cover go? Oh, it's still stuck on there. I'm like, where did the cover go? Oh, it's still on the dimensional. All right, so I'm just going to take this and we're going to layer it over the top of the flowers, covering up part of the bow, a little bit of the flowers, and then I think we'll call that good. Sticking it down. And I may actually tuck a little dimensional right underneath here just because there's kind of a big open gap in there. And I want to make sure that that stays nice and dimensionalized. So when I do this, you can use, if you have tweezers or the take your pick tool handy, you can use that. I usually use paper snips because that's usually what I have laying out on my desk. So peel both sides of your dimensional off. Stick it to your paper snips, slide it underneath, smoosh it down, and there we go. Now we get a dimensional under there, and nobody knows that it wasn't there to begin with. So, all right, last thing for the card front. These are the traditional sparkling sequins, and they're absolutely beautiful and sparkly. So they're like little pieces of glimmer paper that's been chopped up into sequin size and adhesive put on the back of them, which, yay, anything that's self-adhesive, I'm all about that for an embellishment because, yeah, trying to glue stuff down, again, I know if you've listened to my videos, you know that liquid glue and I are not good friends. I usually glue myself to something by the time I've got the card done if I've used liquid glue on it, so I try not to use it unless I absolutely have to. So that is it for the card front. Just took a couple of those little pretty sparkly sequins and stuck them around the flowers and call that good. So inside of the card, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So we've got a piece, this piece measures again about 3 7/8 across and about 2 5/8 tall. So it should layer nicely on the inside with a little bit of Secret C cardstock that we're going to put it on. So I'm going to do some stamping with the sentiments in here. I'm going to stamp, because they're two different stamps, so I figure I might as well use two different colors on it. We're going to stamp the Mary in Secret C, and we're going to stamp it up near the top. And then we're going to tuck the Christmas in right underneath it, and we're going to stamp that one in Cherry Cobbler ink. So inking it up here, trying not to stick my fingers in the ink like I almost just did there. And again, because it's two different sentiments, two different sentiments, two different stamps, whatever, you can kind of stamp it one over the top of the other, just like that. I thought it looked cute that way. Plus it gave me a little bit of room to write my name and, you know, whatever on the inside of the card too. Then the edge of this designer series paper, which I know is, I've already hacked it all up here. So, golly, there we go. So the edge of this does have some little like half flower bouquets on it. Don't just throw those away. Grab that same die that you used to cut the big ones out and cut the little edges out too, because you can use them for decorating the insides of your card. So just like that, we're going to stick that on there. And I do it all the time inside regular full-size cards too. You can just make these pretty little accents that look similar to the card front. and kind of carry it through to the inside of the card. So don't ever throw out those little bits of pretty designer series paper that you can cut with dies. Don't ever throw those away because you can always do things like this with them. All right, now I'm going to grab, should be washing your floors and vacuum. Oh, well, who wants to do that? It's definitely stamping is much more fun. So, all right, I'm just going to trim off the little excess here. And this little bit that's sticking out on the top is fine. If you want to trim it off, if you don't like the way it looks, you certainly can do that. But it's not going to stick out underneath anything, so you know, nobody's going to notice that it's hanging over a little bit. But again, if you don't like the way it looks, just grab your snips and trim it off. We're going to grab a little Stampin' Seal, and we're going to stick that to a piece of Secret Sea cardstock that measures about 2 3/4 tall by 4 inches wide. Going to hopefully get this centered in here. Fairly reasonably straight. All right. And then we're going to put a little Stampin' Seal on the back of this. And I will say this is the only sort of tricky thing with this card, and it's really not even super tricky. But it's lining it up to make sure that this panel is hidden by this panel. So the way that I do it is I usually open up my card, and then I line up my 2 panels together like this, usually. Of course, it's always easier when I'm not on camera. So I just line up the 2 panels, make sure that one is covering the other. Oh, I guess I should have showed you this before I closed it. So basically, it's like this. So hopefully that makes sense. I got one layering over the top of the other. And then we're just going to carefully close the card, make sure we're still all lined up. Close up the card, give it a little smoosh, and then you can open it and you see that that's all in here. It should be lined up perfectly with the card front. So that's my one little trick when you're doing these types of cards where it's got a smaller piece underneath it, is just basically line the 2 up and then close your card, and it'll be lined up perfectly. So there you go. So that's it. A quick and easy little Z-fold card. And because I know I yacked for a while at the beginning, less than 20 minutes to get this one done. So you can make a whole big stack of these because you got a whole pack of the pretty paper, and you can mix and match. That's the fun thing about it, is you can decide which designer papers you want to use together. Use some that are got the gold foiling, some that don't. So a little mix and match. And yeah, lots of fun. Quick and easy, and definitely you need to get this bundle for Christmas. Get the whole suite, like I said, then you won't be sad. So that's always my recommendation, is just get it all. Then you have all the pieces and you can have lots of fun creating. So, all right, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I will be sharing the printable PDF tutorial for this on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. Once the blog post goes live around 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, I will share a link directly to the blog post in the description of the video, so you can click on that and go over and find all the details, find the cardstock cuts, find the link to the PDF tutorial. So if you want to print that off and make this card yourself, yay. So, all right. I think that is it. I will plan to be live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, and then again around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Tuesday. So until then, have a great week. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I think we'll chat with y'all soon.